And the time is 2 minutes gone past the hour of 2 o'clock. And welcome to the State of the Nation this beautiful afternoon here on Unique Radio 103.5. It's right about that time where we have to dive into the affairs of our nation, starting from the what really interests you, the public's opinions, and also the public affairs that has to do with our nation, Nigeria, our states, of course, Cross River State, and also our immediate environment. My name is Okon Offiong, the Catalyst. Definitely going to be your host this beautiful afternoon. And with me in the studio this beautiful afternoon, I have with me OBASE0YI Thompson. As you all know that Nigeria is actually a nation in motion whereby every day, each passing day, we have a lot of happenings out there. We have, unfolding events out there, and it is only necessary that we get to look into most of the happenings in our nation. And if you're actually, following a lot of trends that is actually happening right there, you will agree with me that, preparations for the 2027 general elections is not getting little, but it's getting mighty day by day. Just before we go through, some of the major headlines that we will be deliberating and also analyzing this beautiful afternoon, I told you before that I have with me in the studio OBASE0YI Thompson. Of course, like we do that together. Today, we'll definitely be doing this together again. Good afternoon to you, Thompson.
Good afternoon, the Catalyst. Good afternoon, Malabites and Malabrases. Good afternoon to our wonderful, our listeners all over the world. It's such a beautiful time to be here again. Thank God it's Friday. Yeah. That moment where after now we say, hey, I just want to go take a rest and all of that. Such a beautiful time to be here. So how are you doing today, and how are you preparing for the weekend?
Okay, I think if I am to answer that very question, I'll say I am doing very definitely hoping that it's definitely going to be
Yeah, so
eventful one.
that's part of the plans you're planning. And so to you, the Malabrites, the Malabites and Malabrases out there. So what's the plan? What are you preparing for the weekend? And don't forget, it's such a beautiful weekend. Not to forget to sleep. Don't forget today in national holidays, we did talk about you having enough sleep today, and so you have to sleep. You have to find time, especially today and then the weekend, to have enough time to sleep. Just so you have to, strengthen your mental abilities and all of that. So it's such a wonderful time to be here again on the State of the Nation. Just like you said, a lot of issues have actually happened, and then we're going to be addressing a whole lot. And so our phone lines will be open, so you also be part of this conversation as time goes on.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be an amazing one out there. Thank you so much once again, Thompson, for joining us this beautiful afternoon.
You.
So first on our table this afternoon, we'll be starting with education, and to start there, just to let you know that to approve a 2 billion naira each as a take-off grants for the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Federal Polytechnic in Abuja, as well as the Federal University of Science and Technology, ECPE, in Lagos, as part of effort to support their early operations. Meanwhile, regarding the ongoing war in the Middle East, of course, which has to do with Iran, Israel, and of course the intervention of the United States. There is so much anxiety currently mounting, and that anxiety has to do with Nigerians. And there is actually a report that Nigerians may continue to pay more for premium motor spirit, otherwise known as petrol, alongside automotive gas oil called diesel, as the price of crude oil rose to above $100 per barrel yesterday. Meanwhile, the president of the United States of America, president of Donald Joseph Trump, has come out to say that Iran's new supreme leader is alive but damaged. Of course, we got report that the new leader of Iran, Mojjoba, had actually, survived an attack.
I
He
love
had
that part
actually
where you say that the new Iran leader is
alive
alive but
but
damaged.
So
It's just like say you have a car but it's not working.
so we actually
Oh my
got
goodness.
reports a few days ago that he got an attack, but
Yeah.
gracefully he was able to survive the attack. So today President Trump has come out to say that Iran's new supreme leader, though he's alive but damaged. Of course, that was his statement.
Okay.
And still on the headline, there's a beautiful afternoon which we also will be looking at. It's just to let you know that the former governor of Cross River State, in person of Senator Lee Elimoke, and former senator representing Cross River South, talking about Senator Gesham Bassi, have all resigned their membership from the People's Democratic Party.
With one soul, with one voice, we're a nation undivided and poised. We will take us down and build our land in faith.
And also, still as part of the headline, there's a beautiful afternoon still in the ongoing political tussle ahead of the 2027 general elections, which is fast approaching. Like a fire, we've also gotten reports that about 9 senators from the People's Democratic Party, Labour Party, and ABGA have defected to the African Democratic Congress, otherwise known as ADC, as of yesterday in the Senate chambers. And of course, the senators include the likes of Senator Ireti Kingebe of the FCT, migrating from Labour Party to ADC. Mohammed Ogoshi Anawo of Nasarawa South, defecting from PDP to ADC. Senator Aminu Waziri Tambuwal of Sokoto South, defecting from the People's Democratic Party to ADC. Senator Binos Dauda Yared, defecting from Adamawa South. Adamawa South, defecting from the People's Democratic Party to the ADC. Also, Senator Austin Akobundu from Abia Central, representing Abia Central rather, defecting from the People's Democratic Party to ADC. And also Senator Abaribe, representing Abia South, defecting from ABGA to ADC. Senator Victor Ome, representing Anambra Central, defecting from Labour Party to the ADC. And also Senator Tony Nwoye, representing Anambra North, defecting from the Labour Party to the ADC. And of course, last but not the least, Senator Lawal Adamu Usman, representing Kaduna Central, also defecting from the People's Democratic Party to ADC. And of course, in the wake of the old affections that are currently happening, the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC) has further consolidated its dominance in the National Assembly, following fresh defections in the House of Representatives and also the upper house Senate chamber, raising its numbers in the chamber to 261 members. And as it stands now, report also has it that the ADC have now become, the minority, has overtaken PDP to become, the party with much members in the House of Reps and also Senate, and this also shows that ADC, like we all know, call themselves the coalition and of course the major opposition, and they are already beginning to be the major opposition to the ruling All Progressive Congress, ahead of the People's Democratic, of course, which was seen as the major force and the major opposition to the ruling All Progressive Congress. And it is also interesting to see what this will definitely evolve into. Are we expecting more defections? Are we expecting more political persons there, to defect to the African Democratic Congress, as the ADC? And if you can also recall that currently the People's Democratic Party has just 2 governors, and that happens to be Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, which has been, one of the prominent and vital person in the People's Democratic Party. And of course, we got report a few days ago that PDP are trying to see how they can reconcile. Both factions are trying to see how they can reconcile and come together, of course, to stand and contest for the 2027 general elections. As we all know that all effort is being all effort is being pushed towards the 2027 general election. It is also necessary to ask ourselves one critical and vital questions. It's not just about coming together. What does this person stand to offer us as a people? Are they coming together because they're looking for the betterment of our country, Nigeria, or they are coming together because they just want to get into the positions, they want to achieve what is just their interest? This is actually questions that we need to ask ourselves oftentimes, and of course, whenever we come across headlines like this. And that is why the State of the Nation is right here for you, because we definitely make sure that we look into this, we analyze, and we say it the way it is. Yes, you don't actually need to like it, but of course, we will definitely point it out the way it is. Don't forget, it's still the State of the Nation here on Unique Radio 103.5, and my name still remains Okon, Offiong the Catalyst, and I have here with me OBASE0YI Thompson. We'll be going on a short musical interlude, and when we are right back, trust me, we'll do justice to some of the headlines that we have highlighted this beautiful afternoon. And also, don't forget that time check, it's 30 minutes gone past the hour of 2. We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us. All right, time check is 23 minutes gone past the hour of 2 o'clock. Welcome back from that musical break. If you are just joining us, it's still the State of the Nation here on Unico Radio 103.5. My name's still Okon Offiong, the Catalyst, and right here I have OBASE0YI Thompson. So one of the headlines that we highlighted before, going on that short musical interlude was where we told you that former governor of Cross River State and former senator representing Cross River South, in person of Senator Lee Elimoke and Senator Gesham Bassey, have both resigned their membership from the People's Democratic Party. However, their next destination is yet to be known, if they will be joining the All Progressive Congress or they will be joining the African Democratic Congress, which is otherwise known as the ADC. But in the midst of their resignation from the People's Democratic Party, Thompson, should we be expecting a tussle against the ruling All Progressive Congress in Cross River State, having people like Lee Elimoke and also Gesham Bassey, resigning from the People's Democratic Party? Should we be expecting, further tussle, or should we be expecting these two persons, of course, to join the ruling All Progressive Congress?
Well, trust me, we're going to have, more of these tussle that will definitely come up. Okay, so I think first of all, let me say a big congratulations to the former governor of Cross River State, Lee Elimoke, and also to everyone who is defecting from the any other political party. Let me use that word first for the meantime to say congratulations to them.
Why the congratulations?
Yeah, because that is exactly what the Nigerian politics seems to be like. When you're in a particular political party, you can't stay there to make corrections, except you jump fence to other political party, and then that is when you begin to say, oh, the government of the day is not working. But when you are there, you won't do the right thing. You won't do the proper thing. I think that is one crazy thing we've been talking about. When we have, politicians, making it look as if, if they be in the same roof, they can't make things right. In other words, we've not seen any, current senator from the All Progressive Congress, challenging the status quo, saying, talking to its leadership and saying, hey, this is not right. The realities we're talking about, it is not the right thing. We're not seeing it in reality. All of the things we are busy saying is just so that, it will please the president. You can imagine what is happening in, let's say, Abuja currently as we speak, where the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, has come out to, during an event, was saying that, second-class chiefs, he has, promoted them to first-class chiefs, and then third-class chiefs, he has promoted them to second-class chiefs. No, you can imagine that kind of thing in our political, landscape. So it doesn't really, go down well with a lot of persons. A lot of persons have come out to say a lot of things. And so I think a lot of persons are just power-hungered, allegedly, in this case, because you get a little power, and the next thing you feel like things must be this way. Things must, in quotes, must be this way. And so he made a comment that really triggered a lot of persons who say he is doing this because of their loyalty to the president. And so I don't think we should be loyal to the president. We should be loyal to the Constitution, for crying out loud. And don't forget, there's a newspaper we had this morning during the newspaper segment where one of the newspaper had made it clear that the president have asked lawmakers to respect the rule of law. And we'll talk about the rule of law. It is not the president. Okay, it is not even the office of the president. It is the Constitution that guides us, that directs our path as a country, as a nation, as citizens of this country. So it shouldn't be loyalty to the president. It should be loyalty to the Constitution. What does the Constitution stipulate? Constitution stipulates when it has to do with leadership, traditional institutions, and all of that. So I really felt so bad. But here again, we are seeing people, pitching their tent under the platform of the ADC and saying, look, I think 2027, everybody wants to, ensure that this current government, move away from Aso Rock just so they see the little change. But there again, we're asking, 2023, when the change mantra came up, we see how people went around, did a lot of things, and then today we are having a renewed hope agenda that I don't know, a lot of presidents have said it has become now renewed hopelessness and all of that. But however, I think we really anticipating to see how 2027 general elections will be. Don't forget, a lot of defection is going to happen in coming days, in no distance time. They were going to have a lot of defections, either from the ADC to APC or from APC to ADC, as the case may be. Don't forget, on Wednesday, we're talking about political parties, where we talked about a lot of African countries that have a lot of political parties and all of that. So I think basically, Nigerians should just have 2 or 3 political systems or platforms where if you're not in this party, you're in this party. If you're not in this party, you're neutral, meaning you want to vote whoever you want to vote, irrespective of anything. But I think it should all be about integrity. It should all be about what you can afford, what you can do. It shouldn't just be about, being loyal to the president or being loyal to the governor or being loyal to your political party. It should be someone who has integrity and someone who is ready to respect the rule of law and above all, to respect the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Okay, still talking about the crisis which is currently facing the People's Democratic Party as well as other so-called opposition party here in Nigeria. A chieftain of the People's Democratic Party and a former national vice chairman Southwest of the PDP, Bode George, come as to say that one of the things that has actually brought crisis to PDP is greed and also disregard for the foundational principles that once guided the opposition party.
But when he talks about greed, I become so worried because Nigerians know PDP, one of those funny slogans that people allegedly use, that PDP share the money. I don't know where the greed comes from there, but I think he's specifically talking about some kind of persons who feel there must be God in the political platform. There must be God in decision making. There must be God in every decision, in everything, policies that guides the party.
Don't you think that with this statement is actually making reference to the 2022 PDP convention national convention that was held, where as of then we had the then chairman of the party from the north and still further gave the presidential ticket to also a northerner, which which caused the conflict that is currently ongoing. Of course, we can remember that as of then we had the likes of Nyesom Wike in the race. We had the likes of Nyesom Wike, of course, which was more like the very closest person to Atiku, who was actually in the race, and there was agitations that the ticket should come back to the south. Of course, the All Progressive Congress currently they presented the ticket to the south, but however, PDP, did not present it directly to the south. They just left it open. They just left it open, and they went to the floor. And at the end of the day, we saw lots of persons in the party. They started supporting Atiku over, people's candidates from the south. And because of this, it really created, a lot of crisis. Which caused,
that was why the likes of Peter Obi left the party to the Labour Party, and then we have a lot of them. And then
Wike, of course, had to, start working against the party. Though he refused to leave the party, he still stayed in the party, but causes chaos in the party, not leaving and also not solving the situations in the party. So don't you think that this could be part of the greed that Bode George is talking about?
Yeah, it's part of it. When we talk about selfishness, we're not going too far from being in a particular place and feeling like it must be like this when the leadership is, and that's why a lot of presidents are just very confused to what is going to happen to ADC. If they do not have to get a proper convention and do the proper thing. Especially people are saying, look, you have to zone your presidential candidate to the south. Because that is just one way. People would definitely love to support that vote. And then we're seeing the likes of Atiku Abubakar, who up till today still does not want to
It does not want to give up.
Does not want to give up. So it becomes a very huge problem.
I think it's only been persistent that there's a saying that says when you are persistent, you definitely get what you want. You don't just give up. So I think that is what he's actually trying to do out there. But we actually wait to see, because it doesn't seem like he is definitely going to be the flag bearer of the African Democratic Congress. And for now, we don't really know who might be the flag bearer of the ADC. In as much as lots it's still actually ongoing there in the party. But the coming days is definitely going to be an interesting one, as it's going to unveil and present us with lots of headlines, lots of activities, and
a lot of
events.
Nigerians are very, very in fact, it's beyond participation or anticipating that look, we just want to see the difference, because talking about ADC as it is now, don't forget, a lot of senators, a lot of governors, a lot of past governors, a lot of leaders would definitely want to, realigning their tent and all of that in preparation for the election. Don't forget, the timetable is out from INEC, and as such, time for, let's say, campaigns, and time for their, respective candidates, you want to have this person as a candidate, you want to, and all of those times. So I think this is time for everybody to say, okay, I belong to this party. I want to go and do my party registration. I want to go and do this. I want to join this party. I want to, I support this party and all of that. So let's really, really, sit tight, because 2027 is really going to be a very interesting election, no matter what it is. I've started hearing people saying, oh, the current president was not in power and he found his way there, and so now that he's in power, he's going to do everything to get back again. But we keep asking, would we see the like of let's say the current ADC currently as it is now, if they are united like this come the next election? Trust me, it's not going to be an easy task for the current incumbent president to win, because we're seeing how the votes were actually divided between Atiku Abubakar and the likes of Peter Obi, and also many other candidates. Now we're now seeing the likes of Labour Party, PDP, and ADC joining forces, because this is exactly what it's going to look like. Don't forget, the Labour Party come as a result of an individual, okay, where a lot of Nigerians really stood for. When we talk about the Peter Obi, okay, so today he has left the PDP, he has left the Labour Party, and he has pitched his tent with the ADC. So let's see what really happens, and then seeing the likes of
should we really be expecting, the ADC to be a major threat to the APC? Because you look around, you have the you have the incumbent president who is in APC. You have lots of, okay, I think out of 35 governors in the state, we have 33 who are already in the APC.
Yeah.
Just two are still in the PDP. Those senators, we have majority in the APC. Do we really think that ADC will really be a threat? Because if you ask me, I feel that, in as much as it is necessary that we have a coalition, in as much as it is necessary that we have, an opposition party, but then I don't really think that, ADC is really that strong yet, to stand against the ruling All Progressive Congress. In as much as I know, at the end of the day, it's not just about the party, it is the people, the masses that will come out to elect who they want. But then I still feel that, ADC still has a long way to go. They still have a lot to do.
ADC have a long way to go and a lot to go. That was the same thing that people were saying during the 2022 general elections, that, oh, Peter Obi never had a structure. He doesn't have a councillor, he doesn't have a chairman, he doesn't have a governor, he doesn't have anything. But trust me, after the elections, what happened?
And possibly that's one of the reasons why he did not win.
No, not really. That's one of the reasons why he did not win. In fact, we all know what really happened. Okay, so I think in reality and in real truth and reality, okay, this is why we're seeing the likes of the former INEC chairman being called as an ambassador today to a particular country for Nigeria and all of that. So and then you ask questions like, why did you deserve this position if you never did anything funny during that period of time? Okay, and all of that. You will see how election results were mutilated and how things got wrong, despite all of the court issues that were resolved. You see how the justice system, took a different stand entirely against the wish of Nigerians at some point in time, allegedly. So I think it's quite important for us to say that that election was a clear sign that if the likes of Peter Obi, the likes of Amechi, the likes of Nazar El-Rufai, the likes of the former vice president of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, and all of those guys, if they were in one force, looking at the vote margins between these guys, you could see that if they were in one force, trust me, the current president wouldn't have been where he is today if both of them were united against these forces. So if this time around, I think what will determine what the election is going to look like come next year is going to be first, if the ADC are able to have their conventions from what level to state level at the national convention, and then they are able to get their self together, they are able to get their tents together, trust me, it's going to be a very big goal. For me, I am totally against them receiving other defectors from especially PDP to that particular camp, because I might see that these are people who are just coming there to cause mayhem and all of that.
Are you now seeing PDP as a threat?
Well,
are you seeing them as a canker worm?
Well, it just, of course, because if you ask me, if you look at what exactly is going to play out, we have the likes of Wike, who is not in PDP and who is not in APC, who said, I am in PDP, but said he is still working for the president of APC. And so you keep asking questions. Don't forget, the reps have come up with 10-year jail term for anybody membership of any party. So, but as it is now, Wike will tell you he is not an APC card carrier member. Yeah, so he is going to defend himself and all of that. But then the question is, what are you doing? Is that not an anti-party activities you're doing? That is it. Because you can't tell me you're going around, campaigning for those who are supporting. Who are those supporting the president? Is it not those in his party? And so you say, because you are not a card carrier member of that party, so you are at liberty to. It doesn't speak anywhere. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. So I think that's exactly what we should be expecting come 2027. If ADC will be able to pitch their tent, if ADC will be able to do their homework, I think this is the best time. Whoever needs to step down should step down. Whoever needs to contest should know that it is not a do or die affair. And this is where we are zoning our presidential ticket. It's a simple thing. So we shouldn't make it look as if, it's a big deal and this person must be on the ballot, or let's say the likes of the former vice president of Nigeria. With due respect, Nigeria as it is now we're going out for young persons. Okay, at this age he should be that elder statesman that he is, and then begin to help in policy making. Say, look, this is how it should be, this is what it should be, that is what we expect these persons to do. It's just like in Cross River State. I don't know why young people wouldn't come out, to fight for their rights, and say, hey, I want to go for this position. And we have all of these elderly persons, sitting back as elder statesmen to do to guide, to protect, and to direct. I still see a lot of councillors who are above years, and they're still struggling, instead of allowing these young people to start now to prepare themselves into leadership positions. We still see all these elderly ones, still struggling as little as the councillorship positions and all of that. But there again, you keep asking, even the young ones who are in those particular positions, the things they do are just very terrible. Because one, a lot of them don't want to seek, advice from the elderly ones, simply because who knows how you have come to be in that position. So you think you are all equal with everyone in the society.
When you talked about the youth, the so-called elderly persons not giving rooms for the younger ones, I was actually going to come in there to tell you also say that to an extent, just like the saying says that the youths are the leaders of tomorrow. You get to ask yourself certain questions like, how prepared are these youths? When you're talking about preparation, it's not just saying, okay, I am ready to take upon the mantle of leadership, I'm ready to contest. It boils down to your mental ability. It boils down to your integrity. You come to realize that there are lots of youths nowadays that, you know, in fact, when it comes to being transparent, they are not transparent in the first place. And now, how can you say you are the youth of tomorrow, and you want to change the narrative of what has always been, and yet you cannot do better than the so-called elderly persons? I feel that what the masses want, what Nigerians want, is not just, you know, someone with that is vibrant. It's not just someone that is young. They need someone that, you know, they can always rely on. They want someone that is actually accountable. And the question is, you know, are the youth really ready to meet these terms? Are the youth really ready to meet to take upon the mantle of leadership? And apart from taking upon this mantle of leadership, and also make sure, you know, that the people can trust them with these leadership positions. That is actually a very big question that we should be asking ourselves, and not just saying the youths are the leaders of tomorrow. I know when you see one elderly man, they're coming to say the youths are not ready. The youths are not ready. You know, we get upset. We get upset. We get to say, why are the youths not ready? Why is there always no position given to the youth? You look around today. Most of the youth, you know, they do not want to come out, you know, to challenge the status quo. They are always comfortable queuing behind, you know, the elderly. Of course, you look around now that most of the youth are, you know, okay with being media aids, being you know, fighting on social media over one another.
They all begin in our institutions. If you look at the University of Calabar, let's say for instance, our higher institutions of learning, you know, if you look at the things youth do, you begin to say, yes, it is true that they are not ready. And that's true. You know, all they care for, you know, in the institutions is the dues. You will hardly see a union leaders at any capacity going out looking for grants, research, you know, and all of those things. All they care for is just the dues students are paying. I've known a lot of departmental currently, you know, that have refused to talk to me in the street because they come meeting and say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want an NGO that will grant us money to do this. I say, look, there are lots of opportunities out there. Guys, go out there. And the only thing I see a lot of union leaders do these days is about awards, giving awards. Once they do an award, it means they have done what the organizer have never done. And it becomes a big project. That's not it. It shouldn't be. You know, how many lives have you transformed as a leader in your capacity, in your departmental, in your faculty, and the student union government body? It's not all about getting student dues and then using it to share and dream that you have done anything. It doesn't make any sense, you know. And then this is exactly what transformed to the societal space that we find ourselves, because after all of this, if the little leadership you have been able to handle in the school, you know, you cannot be able to make impact out of it. When you go out to the secular world, trust me, you won't be able to make impact, because you cannot manage, you cannot systematically say that, oh, with the opportunity I have had, I have been able to achieve this, I've been able to do this. You can't do it. Understand? That's the reason why even in our society today, a lot of young people, if out of maybe 10 students in the entire University of Calabar, you could see that about 9 or 8 of them do not have voters card. Just 1% of it, just one have a voters card. And even the one that have, say, might tell you, oh, the voters card you know, is bad, or probably where he's voting is very far, and all of this. A lot of excuses that a lot are not even participating in voting. Even in departmental elections, you have to force a lot of them, plead with them to come and vote for you. It doesn't make any sense. They don't look at it as something that is part of your right for you to be voted for, or for you to vote for someone. So they make it look as if you must come to plead with them, beg them, persuade them, and make them feel like they are children, you know, drag them, you know, force them before they can come and vote for you. And when they come to vote for you, there are a little delayance or a little challenge. You see them running away, going away, and all of that. Not to talk about faculty elections or even the student union government election. These days, nobody is interested to do it. And so when they give you any kind of human being as your SG president, you begin to panic. This person doesn't talk, this person doesn't do this person doesn't do that. That's the same thing that is happening in our society today. If you sit back and feel like, let them go and vote now, after all, they'll still do their thing. It's the same mentality, and it's the same challenge that we're going to be facing all the time. So if during the election you have your voter's card, you're able to go and vote, and you stay back to watch your vote, and you say, this is not the person we voted for because this person is not competent, trust me, we won't be in this mess that we are today as a nation. Because trust me, I think if people decide deliberately that they want to have good leadership, Nigerians, I know what we can do. Trust me, we'll definitely get it.
All right, so meanwhile, moving down to Cross River State, as part of ways to strengthen sanitation and sanitation standard and safeguarding public health, the Cross River State House of Assembly has passed the Open Defecation Prohibition Bill. And the bill is actually a legislative measure aimed at improving sanitation and public health. It seeks to outlaw open defecation in public places and promote the use of proper toilet facilities across the state. Now, Thompson, let's quickly talk about this before we can actually call it a wrap, because it is actually an interesting and a very fascinating bill that the current governor of Cross River State, Senator Prince Bassey 82, of course, want to take Cross River State to become one of the cleanest state as it used to be back then under the then administration of the governor Donald Duke, the then governor of Cross River State. And now the this bill that has just been passed as the open defecation bill is actually as a way of seeing how they can fight open defecation. And of course, one of the things that actually interests me is that they want to promote the use of proper toilet facilities across the state, and you get to look around. There are some times as a person, maybe you are going for you leave your home, you are going for maybe a function, you are going to work, or you are going to a particular place, and you are pressed. You look around, and you tend to use the convenience, but yet there is no convenience. That no convenience that you can say, okay, even if it's actually not to use for free, at least just to pay money and make use of it and make yourself comfortable, you are not. It gets to a point where, before you leave your house, you need to, assess yourself. You need to make sure
that is what I do.
You need to make sure that nothing will happen to you, like you will not be pressed while on the road, or when you get to where you are going to.
Yeah, if I suspect that I'm going to be pressed where I'm going to, especially when it has to do with defecation, look, I have to take, there are some toffees I usually take just to stay at my own self and pace, because it's just like people, I literally don't know how people behave, like how they feel comfortable to go to somebody's house and say, hey, please let me use your toilet. Man, me, I can't, so fat. So I literally, you go to somebody's house, and you be detonating like US bomb, US and Iran bomb. Boom. No, I don't think that is very proper, please. But what are we driving at is the Cross River State.
The preparedness of Cross River State.
I think, if you go around Atu Runabout, I think there's a public defecation center there.
Just one, yes.
Just one.
And if you look very well, it's actually an NGO that that handle that.
That handle that.
Yes.
Now, if you look around Cross River State, you see that you hardly find places like that.
Very hard.
I am one person that I think a lot of our government leaders, I don't know how they just wake up to make policies without first looking at major to cope it. I've been making instances that if you look at Unica, for instance, you see that the current administration is saying, look, we have to clean the environment before we start making laws. That, look, if we catch you throwing things indiscriminately, we get you arrested. Do you understand? So, and then another thing they need to start doing is to make sure that they provide dustbins, across. It's just like even waste management in the state. They have provided the waste bin management, but when you see what these guys are doing, when they come to waste bins, what do? They get inside the waste bin and pull out all the trash that have been provided inside, and it doesn't make any sense. So I think there should be task force also looking at that. When we talk about open defecation, look, we whether we like it or not, it's not going to end anytime soon, because one, the state itself, we are not yet ready.
Yes,
we have not made provisions for that. Do you understand? If you look at Etagbo, from Etagbo down to Rock, you will not see any place to say, this is a government, this thing. We say, you want to ease yourself, come and ease yourself. It happens everywhere. If you look at most of our gutters in the morning when you pass, you see people defecating just there in the gutter and all of that. You look at Mary's Lesser, because of the how lonely that place is. You see somebody just squatting there in the morning morning you come and pass, you see one heavy amala. Just I'm sorry to use amala though. Oh, sorry. Amala is a good food though, you know, and all of that. So, but I think it's wrong for people to deliberately misuse you know, our waterways, misuse our streets and all of that. Please, just do all you can to empty your stomach or find. Look, you just stay there, and every morning or every month your bank withdraws money from you. Please, if you feel you don't have toilets in your compound, a lot of you know, compounds don't have toilets. This is another problem entirely. Landlords are just busy increasing rates, and they won't be able to make toilets.
How do you have an accommodation without, you know, a convenience?
Yeah, it happens. There are a lot. If you go down to Wanse, for instance, if you go down to Godi here, for instance, there are lots of compounds that doesn't have toilets, and they keep toileting and putting it.
Since you've been a victim of such circumstance.
No, I can't be a victim of such circumstances, because one, my bank have been withdrawing money, so I'll rather go to my bank and make sure I poo very well and I detonate very well when I get to that place. So go there. You have your fast food joints. Okay? There are a lot of fast food joints in the state. I think that is one thing that individuals are doing. There are a lot of club sites.
I think this is
go there and rest yourself.
This is actually, you know, pushing the citizens, you know, something that, you know, the government are supposed to do. You are pushing the citizens, of course, to see how they can utilize a private owned businesses.
Exactly, because we don't want you to mess up our communities. Then
the government should do the needful. The government should provide the needful
rather than providing first.
The government should provide the needful for the citizens rather than pushing the citizens to say they should go and you know, make use of private owned businesses, because at the end of the day, this person still pays sanitation levy, they pay dues, they pay all kinds of levies. So the people should not also be taking the responsibility of the government. The government will wake up and do what they have to do. It's already
in other words, that means that this particular bill is not going to hold water, because as it is now, you have not provided. Now, Ogoja currently, as we speak, is the only local government in the state. I know that UNICEF, we have what we call water and sanitation hygiene that is currently going on in Ogoja. And we have visited those places in Mbube. We visited a lot of local governments in that local, a lot of communities in that local government, and we've seen the lot of changes that is happening there. We went to meet with one of the councillors around, is it Ward 3 at, you know, Bish. When we went there, I told him this is what we want to do, that UNICEF is ready to do this, but you guys will have to start. You know, the whole of that place, they are using the inland waterways to, you know, for toiletries and all of that. And don't forget, we went there and said, okay, this is what we want you guys to do. We went there, we went to the councillor, we went with the youth leader, the community leader, we inspected the whole of that place. Look, it is really horrible, and I'm glad that the councillor is also part of these people who have made these laws. And so if you're making this law without providing an avenue for your people in your constituency to actually make use of, then it is really terrible. If you go to Tete, run about that areas, please. In fact, I don't think they don't even have any toilet around there.
Thank you so much, Thompson. Time will not permit us to go any further, but then we are calling on the government of Cross River State, please, to wake up and see, of course, how they can, you know, attend to the concern of the citizens. The new bill, of course, that has been passed by the Cross River State House of Assembly, it's a welcoming one. It's actually a very good one. But then the government of the day will need to make sure that they make provisions for this bill to, you know, to become lively, and to also to become something that, you know, the citizens will not be complaining about. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you for always making our time to join us. It's 57 minutes gone past the hour of 2, and it's right about time where we have to call it, you know, a shot right there in the studio, to where we come your way again. For now, say stay safe, enjoy the rest of our broadcast, and always remember that security is everyone's business. If you see something, try as much as you can to make sure that you say something for a better Nigeria, a better Cross River State, and a better society at large. It was the State of the Nation here on Unico Radio 103.5 with OBASE0YI Thompson, and my name is Okon Offiong, the Catalyst. Bye for now.